Hey everyone, welcome to Car Review. Today we're going to talk about the new movie Skyscraper. This will be a spoiler-free review of the film, so let's get into it. So, yeah, Dwayne Johnson's Die Hard. And while the two movies sound and look very similar on paper, Skyscraper is not a superior version of Die Hard. I will say that right off the bat because I know people were making comparisons between the two movies, and just to be honest, I was too, because I mean, just watch that trailer, you know what you're in for with this movie, or so it seems. Oh, the twists. Yeah, and though I said that Skyscraper is not a superior film to Die Hard, I mean, that's a pretty high bar to beat. This movie is good, and it is actually a lot better than I thought it would be. You know, Dwayne Johnson, or The Rock, or Dwayne The Rock Johnson, whatever you want to call him, you know, he went from being a wrestler into a movie star, and he just keeps on churning out just what I think to be pretty good movies. I know his movie Baywatch was not very well received and did not make a whole lot of money at the box office, but in my defense, I did not see that movie, so if that was a dud, I passed on it. But in my opinion, he just keeps on making good movies, and this is another one he can add onto that list, because I really enjoyed it. It is a lot of fun, and it has great action to it too, and for the most part, this movie really impressed me, because I gotta talk about something. This movie, Skyscraper, costed $125 million to make. Okay, that is more than Dwayne Johnson's movie Rampage, which featured heavy amounts of CGI, and you knew what you were getting in for that movie from the trailers alone. Skyscraper, in the trailers, when I watched them and all that, I saw 30, 40, 60 million tops for the budget. I never thought in my wildest dreams that this movie would cost more than Rampage or some of his other more heavy CGI films. But I will say though, there is a lot of special effects in Skyscraper, and for the most part, that money is put to good use. I thought that the special effects in Skyscraper were actually borderline great for the most part. Obviously, there's some parts of the movie that, you know, you can tell they put a little more money and a little more time into than others, but I'd say for a good 80% of the movie, those are top-notch special effects, and you can see the $125 million price tag. Should this movie have costed over $100 million to make? No. It is not deserving of that budget at all, and honestly, it kind of set itself up for failure off the bat just on that, because, hey, that rhymed, but because this movie is not great. It is not great, but it is good, and it is a lot better than I thought it'd be. And again, I'm gonna probably say this a lot, but this movie was a lot of fun, and I know I already said that it was better than I thought, but I mean, again, that's kind of just what I'm gonna be trying to really drive home in this review, because those are my two biggest talking points. Is that I didn't really know what I was gonna get. Well, I mean, yeah, you kind of did. You kind of thought you were gonna get this, you know, this kind of silly, stupid, you know, movie about, you know, The Rock, and he's making a Die Hard movie. But it's actually a lot more to that. There's a story there, a little convoluted, but they could have just made this a stupid action film, and granted, it has elements of that, but you know, they could have just gone, hey, The Rock is a huge star, let's just throw him in front of a green screen, you know, have explosions, you know, slow motion, gunfire, let's make this thing as dramatic and as, you know, cheesy as possible. And they did it. You could tell that they really did put a lot of thought into this movie, and the first half of it takes itself very seriously, and it does a good job of handling itself. It kind of knows what it is and knows what it wants to be, and then in the second half, it kind of goes off the rails, just in story-wise and and just in kind of like sheer craziness, because there are a few moments where I was like, ah, you had me locked in, you really did. And then they take the fiction of the movie and they stretch it, and they stretch it to its ends, really, because there are some moments in the movie where I was just like, man, you're reaching, you know, into like, you know, near sci-fi level stuff about how someone could survive this and how this would work and all that. And, you know, I get it, you know, it's an adventure film. You gotta put your star into crazy and daring situations for a cool adventure, but like, man, I don't know, there are a few moments where I was like, there's no way you should be able to get out of that, and sure enough he does. But there are more moments that had me literally on the edge of my seat. There are a few moments where my toes curled from anticipation, anxiety, fear, excitement, whatever you want to call it. There are a few moments where I was like gasping, because the way that this movie was shot shows the scale and the gravity of what's going on. And I mean, they make you feel like you're on top of a skyscraper looking down, and you're following Dwayne Johnson as he climbs the side of it and, you know, runs through it and all that stuff. I mean, you feel like you're there. You feel like you're up in the air. And that was really cool. That was really immersive, which again, I did not think I was going to get with a movie like this. But there's more to this movie than meets the eye, and that's why I think people should see it. And then, yeah, action-wise, it was really good. It really impressed me on that end too. You know, there's more than just, you know, the couple, you know, hallway fight scenes and stuff, you know, that you kind of expect to be in a movie like this, you know, close quarters hotel fighting and stuff. There's actually some really good combat scenes and some really good characters and stuff that just further the plot and everything. And yeah, it's not just a Dwayne Johnson movie. I mean, it's a good movie. It's about a family, you know, and these you know, these bad guys and these cops and everything. And the focal point, while you follow The Rock through the movie, it's not, everything isn't just specifically centered on him, which I really liked. And obviously another thing I liked about this is that the fact that Dwayne Johnson's character is handicapped and has and is disabled. You know, as someone who also is legally handicapped, just giving you a little bit of insight into my life, I really appreciated his representation of that community in this movie. You know, they made what people look like, you know, I mean, let's be honest, you know, when you look at someone with a handicap or a disability, you think of that as a pure weakness, a pure hindrance. And in this movie, it wasn't, and you can argue that it was actually an asset to Dwayne Johnson that he was handicapped, because he uses his skills and everything, and it's hard to explain, but he kind of uses his body in a way that helps him throughout the movie. I know that sounds really weird and stuff, but you know, he has a prosthetic leg, and that prosthetic leg helps him out of a lot of situations. So I mean, it was really nice to see that, you know, instead of, you know, being looked down upon as someone who is weaker than, you know, your common man or woman, you know, he excelled under extreme pressure and extreme circumstances where no one should be able to survive. And granted, like I said, they stretch the truth a little bit and they get into fiction and all that, but still, overall, I was very thoroughly impressed and happy that the community that I'm part of, being handicapped, I was represented in a movie, and he was shown to be the hero and the good guy and the guy that saves people. That was all very nice and very cool. And yeah, you know, there's not a whole lot to talk about in this movie. I don't want to spoil anything. I'll just say that it was better than I thought it'd be. There is more there than just a silly action movie with lots of CGI. There is some meat. There is some weight to it, and special effects are really good. Camera work is great. Soundtrack is really nice, and it is just a fun, enjoyable movie. And I hope you definitely get a chance to see Skyscraper in theaters, as it should be seen in theaters, because it, again, just as I said, the way it is shot and the scope of it, you can tell it is made for the big screen, and that's where it should be seen. So, yeah, that is my review of Skyscraper. Oh, and real quick, the guy that made this movie, Rawson Marshall Thurber, I'm pretty sure is how you say his name. If you don't know who he is, he made the movie Central Intelligence with Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, and he also made Dodgeball: A True Underdog Story with Ben Stiller and Vince Vaughn. I didn't know that until like a little bit ago, but if you want to go and see this movie based off of his filmography, definitely see it. But yeah, Skyscraper. It is a good movie and a great movie. It is fun. It is a summertime adventure film that should be seen on the big screen, because that's where it deserves to be seen. And it was just a good time. Glad to see the handicapped and disabled community represented proudly. And yeah, better than I thought it'd be. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And yeah, see Skyscraper, in the theater near